Yeah, welcome my students and viewers. Again, today I am here with some MCQs for last 2-3 days on account of some inevitable problem. I could not come on a video or on YouTube with new MCQs, but today I am again here. So let us start, and we have some more questions for today's class. First is the limit of Pearson coefficient of skewness. You might be remembering that Pearson's coefficient of skewness is mean minus mode by SD. This is the formula. Now, the limit of this J is minus 3 and plus 3. So, the value of J is supposed to lie in between minus 3 and plus 3. So, this will be the answer. Similarly, Bowley's coefficient of skewness. Bowley's skewness coefficient is third quartile plus first quartile minus twice of second quartile and third quartile minus first quartile. So that is a crude formula for Bowley's coefficient of skewness, and its limit is minus 1 and plus 1. So that will be the answer. So minus 1 and plus 1 is the limit of the Bowley's coefficient of skewness. Number 3, if first quartile is 6 and third quartile is 10 and coefficient of skewness is 0.5, then find median. So this sum relates to this Bowley's method. Bowley's method, because this Q2, this is median. So for this formula, this coefficient of skewness is given, third and this Q3 and Qn, third and first quartile are given. We have to find the value of Q2 by putting all the values. We can get the value of Q2 that happens to be median. So Bowley's coefficient of skewness is this formula. Now we put all values. Skewness is 0.5 and Q1 plus Q3. Q3 is 10, Q1 is 6 minus 2 Q2 and Q3 minus Q1. When this is solved, this is 4. So 4 into 0.5, that becomes 2, and 2 equals 16 minus 2 Q2. So 2 Q2 is 16 minus 2, 14, and so Q2 is 7, and this is nothing but median. So median is 7. So median is 7. For a symmetrical distribution, for any symmetrical distribution, all these three upper averages, that is mean, median and mode, these three are equidistant. So for a symmetrical distribution, first quartile is 142 and semi-interquartile range is 15, then we have to find the value of median. So semi-interquartile range is defined as Q3 minus Q1 by 2. This is the formula. Now we put the values. IQR is given as 18, number 4, yes, 18, and Q1 is 142, so Q3 minus 142 by 2. So that is 18 into 2, 36, and 142 is taken to left hand side. So 36 plus 142 becomes Q3. So Q3 is 36 plus 142, that is 178. Now we know the value of Q1 and Q3. Q1 is 142 and Q3 is 178. Now for a symmetrical distribution, median is defined as the arithmetic mean of two quartiles, upper and lower quartiles. So we are in the know of these two quartiles, so Q1 plus Q3 by 2, and so 142 plus 178 by 2, 320 by 2, and median happens to be 160. So 160 is the correct answer. If mean is 200 and variance is 256, choose the correct one of the following. Now, if variance is 256, then we know that standard deviation is under root variance. So under root 256, that is 16. So standard deviation is 16. Now here The standard deviation is 6556 is absolutely wrong. CV, for the CV we must know the value of SD and mean, and here SD is 256, so SD would be 16 and mean is 200. So 200 by 16 by 200, 16 by 200 is 800 upon 8 by 100, that is 0.08. So CV would be 0.08. This is once again wrong answer. And C, if variance is 256, then the standard deviation is square root of 256, that is 16. So that is the correct answer. And CV happens to be 0.08, given it is 8, so it is the wrong answer. So for this fifth question, C would be the answer, that is standard deviation is 16 if variance is 256. Number 6. For complementary goods, the change in cross elasticity of demand is A, negative, positive, infinity, or 0. So if we know the formula of cross elasticity of demand, then it is quite clear that cross elasticity of EC is percentage change in demand of commodity X and percentage change in price of commodity Y. In terms of calculus, this would be marginal function and average function. This is dx by dp and x by p. Now in the case of complementary goods, if price of goods increases, then the demand decreases. So in case of this complementary good, the relation between the demand and price is negative. So this is negative, making cross elasticity negative. So for the case of complementary goods, cross elasticity is always negative. And likewise for the substitution goods, this is positive. So if price increases, demand increases. Let there are two soaps, Lux and Lirel. This is X and this is Y. If the price of Lirel increases, demand of Lux would increase. So dx by dp is positive, and for the substitute goods or the competitive goods, this cross elasticity of demand is always has to be positive. So this is positive, this is negative, and this is case. Again I am coming with more questions. This question number 8, this is utility function. Then it has been asked that when the commodity X and Y, the unit of commodity X and Y is X1, Y2, then MUX and MUY at this value of X and Y is. Now very simple, U is 4x cube plus 2y square. So MUX is delta U by delta X is 12x square. Now the value of X is 1. So MUX is 12, and MUY delta U by delta Y 4y, and Y value is 2. So it is 8. So MUX is 12 and MUY is 8. Which combination is this one? Must be this one. So MUX 12 and MUY 8. Well, this question says that when MPL, the marginal productivity of labor, equals average productivity of labor, then what condition it calls for? Now this question relates to the law of variable proportions, and if you remember law of variable proportions, this is the total product curve. These are the 3 stages, and this is average product, and this is marginal product, and at this point APL equals MPL, and at this point APL is maximum. So this question relates to the law of variable proportion. So APL is maximum. This would be the answer. Moving away from contract curve. This question relates to the Edgeworth box diagram. Though the making of box diagram is a little bit tedious task, but if this is the origin for consumer A and this is the origin for consumer B, and if this is the contract curve, if consumer remains on this contract curve, both consumer A and consumer B would be attaining the maximum utility. But if there is any deviation from this contract curve, supposing if here, then it would harm only one consumer, and that depends on which IC virtually is a very deviation. If this is the IC of A and this is IC of B. So if let any deviation is on ICA, then A would be no harm, B would be harmed. And if any deviation is on ICB, then there is a harm for A, not for B. So for any deviation, for any deviation from this contract curve, it would harm only one consumer, either A or B, depending upon the shifting. So this would harm only one, not both. In oligopoly, markets are dependent on each other's actions. Absolutely correct. This is assertion that it says that in oligopoly, markets are dependent on each other's rivals' action, and the reason says that firm cannot influence the market. Absolutely wrong. The action of one firm is going to affect the market price. So it is now R is wrong, but A is correct. So only A is correct, R is not correct. And number 12 is if price elasticity of demand is 0, that is perfectly inelastic demand. So if this becomes the demand curve, this is the price axis, this is the demand axis, this is 0. If the demand curve becomes vertical on the output axis, then price elasticity of demand is 0. And if this demand curve becomes vertical on the vertical axis, on the price axis, then for this elasticity of price is infinity. So this is perfectly elastic and this is perfectly inelastic. So this is perfectly inelastic demand curve is this one. Question number 13 says that the short-run average cost curve is U-shaped due to law of constant returns to a scale, law of variable proportion, law of increasing return, law of diminishing return. This is law of variable proportion, and I must tell the students as well as the viewers that on this cost and production, on these two chapters, I have made a very extensive video on another channel. That is, I am running another channel by my own name, Sarojha channel. Few days back, I have just posted a video there showing a relationship between cost and production just simultaneously. So students are advised to please see that video itself, which is very clear and in a very extensive way I have explained there that how this short-run cost curve is derived from the short-run production function. So the law of variable proportion, this leads to the U-shape of average cost curve or the U-shape of marginal cost curve with the short run. So the U-shape is only due to the operation and the occurrence of law of variable proportions. Number 14, there is assertion that according to John Robinson, a productive factor is exploited if it is paid a price less than the value of marginal product. And region says a monopoly firm will have MR greater than price. No, this is wrong reason. So this assertion is correct that only a labor is supposed to be exploited if the price of factor or the price of labor is less than the value of its marginal product. So assertion is correct, but reason is false or wrong. Number 5, choose the condition of equilibrium of a firm. Now, average cost equals marginal cost with negative slope of MC, absolutely wrong. Average revenue equals marginal cost positive, this is wrong. And marginal revenue equals marginal cost and with positive slope of marginal cost. Here it is shown. This is the point of equilibrium, and at this point MR equals MC, and at this point marginal cost curve has positive slope. Of course, a marginal revenue curve has a negative slope. The absolute value of slope of these two curves is just another aspect. But at the point of equilibrium, slope of marginal revenue is negative and the slope of marginal cost is positive. So equilibrium, at the point of equilibrium, MR must equate MC and the slope of MC must be positive. So this is the correct answer. MR equals MC with positive slope of marginal cost. So this friends, this 14-15 question I have explained, and again just I am coming with more questions in next class, and it is all for today. Again I will be coming tomorrow. Thanks. This is all for today.